It's time for another installment of Friday in the Fields, brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. We're here at Miller Farms in Sioux County, Nebraska. And as the old saying goes, corn knee-high by the 4th of July. And as you can see, we're well above that quota here at the midway mark through the month of July. Well, this week I am joined by Ross Miller, third-generation farmer here at Miller Farms, and 2023 so far has been kind of a bizarre season. It's what everyone out here in Western Nebraska has been talking about, the rain. What have we been seeing here at the farm?
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of rain this spring, which is fairly unusual. When we were planting corn, the ground was really dry, but it's pretty well filled up with water now.
Last time we were out here was early May, and I talked to your father, Glenn, today, and he estimated about 12 inches between May 5th and today. Is that about the right ballpark for you?
I suppose. It varied a little bit depending on what field you're in, but that's probably about right, between 10 and 12 inches, I think.
And that's got to be more than you normally see any given summer for actual rainfall, is that right?
That's probably the rainfall average for a year. I mean, maybe, I don't know exactly.
So what's the impact that you're seeing on the crops? We'll start with, I guess, what we always say we want to see knee-high by the 4th of July. The corn is looking great.
Yeah, corn looks exceptional. It's ahead of schedule, that's for sure. We're just getting water onto it this week. Well, last week, I guess.
And normally, when do you start irrigating traditionally?
It varies from year to year, but probably mid-June a lot of times, or the 20th of June.
So
it wouldn't be unusual, so we pushed it back maybe 2 weeks or something like that.
And that just has to mean the world for you for what you have for allocated water usage every season. I mean, you barely touched anything so far.
Yeah, we just got started, so it should help. I hope that they can keep some back in the lakes and stuff for next year. That benefit, that might be where we see the benefit.
I took a peek at your wheat fields. Those are looking good. Where are you standing on that? Are you close to cutting that at all?
Oh, maybe 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, which is not unusual. The last week of July. That's probably what we average anyway to start. So.
And how's this year's crop looking compared to years past? Has the added water made a difference visibly?
Wheat's hard to tell looking at it. I would assume it's going to be pretty good with quite a bit of rain, but we also got 2 weeks. You got to keep the hail away and everything else. So.
Yeah, and that's something we've really seen a lot of across the Panhandle. As a farmer, how has it been? I mean, just for your entire lifetime, knowing that the white combine is out there and it really doesn't play favorites. It can hit anywhere. So, I mean, I guess you've experienced it firsthand. How devastating is it when you actually get the hail coming down and killing a crop for the season?
Oh, it sure can be. It just depends, on time of year for it and stuff like that. Sometimes we had just a little hail early on the corn, but it'll grow out of it. But it's pretty tough, especially when you watch like wheat in the summer and you know that you're a week or two from combining it and just lays it flat and there's nothing there. So it doesn't happen too often, and we've got lucky that we haven't had near as much hail up here as some people have, like south of Mitchell and out in that area. Into Gearing. We got pretty lucky on that.
Just this past weekend in Minatare, I saw a lot of fields. Minatare clear out to about Bayard. I mean, just levels.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's close to home, but far enough away. We're still standing strong. That's
so
amazing.
So far, we've got lucky on that.
And traditionally, I think dry bean harvest for you guys is around Labor Day weekend. Is that going to be expedited with the rainfall, or too early to tell?
Yeah, it's pretty early to tell. Depends. Some of the crops didn't grow a lot this last week where it was cool. And maybe now with pushing 90s and stuff like that, it could really take off. I don't know. I mean, you just kind of have to watch, but it's pretty early on the beans right now.
All right.
So.
And then have you had any cuttings of your hay or alfalfa?
Yeah, I had one so far. We're probably getting close to 2, maybe in a week or 10 days.
And how's that been looking so far compared to what you've had in years past? Again, the rain has been such a...
Record setting. I mean, it was more than we've ever got off hardly any of these fields. So,
and in years past, how many cuttings do you normally get? And are you going to get an extra, maybe even 2 this year?
No extras. We usually get 4 cuttings, and that's, that 4th cutting could be pushing October already. So we didn't move up the time spot on that any. We're actually maybe just a little behind. Last year, I think I was baling the 20th of June, and I think I was cutting the 20th of June this year. So another week, a little bit, almost a week late. So.
And I was looking at our schedule. We're not slated to be up here again for about another 4 to 5 weeks. So what's really going to be keeping you busy until mid-August?
We'll be cutting wheat for sure by then. We may be close to done. or possibly being done. And then mostly irrigating, and I suppose we might be cutting the third cutting somewhere right in there. Okay.
Perfect. So, any other big talking points for operations right now at Miller Farms here in Sioux County?
Not really. One of the things we've noticed a little bit this spring is that with diesel prices coming down a little bit and fertilizer prices coming down a little bit, we haven't quite had to put so much money out to try to get a crop in the ground, and that's helps some.
That always helps the bottom line.
Sure.
All right, we'll catch it up with Ross Miller, third generation farmer at Miller Farms here in Sioux County. We'll be back here in just about 4 or 5 weeks as we continue on FNBO's Fridays in the Field right here on the Rural Radio Network.